That's right, too lean. Not for the show, he's not near lean enough. But for his health, his sanity, this is way too lean for Vitruvian Physique. Coach Greg and Vitruvian Physique, well, he's not cut out for this. I've been following his journey to the stage, and every single video is how much he's suffering, how miserable he is, how he hates his life, how he has no energy, hungry all the time. And he still has a long ways to go. He's 2 weeks out from the show, and you would need 2 to 4 weeks of extra dieting in order to get truly shredded. He's going to show up looking, not bad, guys, 100% natural, and I do believe that to be true. But he's still not going to compete shredded. He's going to be lean, don't get me wrong, looks lean, looks great, fantastic, but he could be even better if he dieted longer. But that is simply not in the cards. I do believe if he showed up the leanest guy in the show, he would lose a significant amount of muscle, have no life, and have crushed testosterone levels. And so I would highly discourage him from ever trying to do so.
I'm glad that I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel because I fucking need it.
And so his words, not mine. He's losing his mind. He cookbook hates it. Does that sound like somebody that should be competing? Losing his mind and hates it. And the guy is just barely hitting single-digit body fat. But you all want single digits. Vitruvian Physique with above-average genetics knows exactly what he's doing, has a lot of quality information, and even for him, this is a nightmare.
2-3 years since the last time I competed, I used to love watching this stuff with other people as well. I used to love watching like Ronnie Coleman videos.
And so his training sucks, it's suffering, he doesn't have the energy, the stamina to go through and do his entire workouts. And so you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? Why are we doing this? Why are we putting ourselves through all this torture, suffering, to compete at 80% of what the judges would want him to compete at? Sure, he'll compete perhaps 8-9% body fat. Judges are thinking, why aren't you in better shape? Why didn't you get to 5%? Well, this is exactly why.
These days, guys, it doesn't sound that glamorous. I'm in the gym for like 30 minutes. I do like 3 exercises. Each of them I do at like 6 out of 10 intensity, and then I'm going home.
And so you have to respect Vitruvian for calling it the way it is. He's not lying, bullshitting, I'm killing it every day. He barely getting through a 30-minute workout, and his workouts, they suck. And so is it worth it? Why are you trying to look like this when it's ruining your life? Your workouts used to be fun, you now go to the gym, can barely make it through it. And for what? To have a six-pack? Is it actually worth it?
I want to go to sleep, and I want to eat my sad little 300 calories I have allotted for myself for a meal.
And so does this sound like the motivation you need to go to the gym? To get on a diet, to get single-digit body fat? Oh, but Coach Greg, he's a hater. He calls everyone fat. Do I really? Or do I encourage people to be at a healthy body fat? 15%. For Vitruvian, once he gets below 12% body fat, it is a nightmare. Everyone has a specific set point that they can maintain at. For Vitruvian, 12 to 20%, that's probably his ideal range. Anything below 12, it's a nightmare. If he's 12 to 20, feels good. He can train hard. Notice now he's at a 6 on 10 and only for 30 minutes. Before, he could train balls to the wall over an hour. And you know why? Because he's in a calorie deficit and he's too lean. That's right, too lean. Not for the show, he's not near lean enough. But for his health, his sanity, this is way too lean for Vitruvian Physique.
I mean, again, this is the optical illusion. This is the disparity of bodybuilding. You feel your worst when you look your best.
And absolutely, you feel your worst when you look your best. So he has the dream physique. People are going to watch his videos and say, I wish I could look like that. Do you really? Careful what you wish for. Oh, I wish I could look like that. Imagine you wish that from the genie. I want to look like Vitruvian Physique. Bammo, you do. But you feel like him for every day for the rest of your life. You would now hate your life. You hate going to the gym. You are always hungry, starving, have no energy. Is it worth it?
Right now, I'm at about 174.6 pounds. This comes out to an overall weight loss rate of 0.9 pounds of weight loss per week.
And so he's down to 174 pounds. He's been dieting for 20 weeks. And is he doing a mind-blowing transformation? Did he lose 5 pounds a week? No, 0.8 pounds per week. And so he's doing everything perfectly. Picture perfect. He knows exactly what he's doing. Yet he's still suffering. And so what does this teach us? It teaches us that we're not all cut out for this. Not everyone can maintain single-digit body fat. In comparison, Jeff Cavalier, every day of his life, is leaner than Vitruvian Physique. And he has energy, feels good, no problem. he has the genetics to be lean. On the other hand, Vitruvian Physique, he does not. And from my own personal experience, when I drop below 8%, I'd start to feel exactly as Vitruvian did. Even when I competed natural, when I got down to 6-7% body fat, it was a nightmare. Exactly how he describes it. And so if you ever decide to go down this path to do a bodybuilding competition, realize this. And so depending on your genetics, you are going to suffer and feel exactly as Vitruvian Physique does. It's not as glorious as people make it seem to be that, oh, you look amazing, you're shredded, you're killing it in the gym. The reality is you're suffering to even make it to the gym. Sometimes it's even difficult to drive to the gym.
Nobody cares. The judges don't care. They look at two things. How big are you? How lean are you? And I guess a third small factor is how good is your posing.
And another big factor which he omits is the symmetry of the body, how all the body parts match. You have very wide shoulders with small waist with flaring thighs. That is the X frame, and that is what you need. And so along with the size and the conditioning, you do in fact need to have proper shape. And so you can see single digit body fat, he's starting to get conditioning in the center of the chest. When you're truly shredded, those cross striations in the chest, they start at the sternum and go all the way up into the armpit. You can see he has a couple inches of striations, and as you get leaner, those will get longer and longer towards the armpit. And so he does look great. He is getting in condition, but this is still 4 to 6 weeks out from being truly competition ready.
Things that I have to be careful of is number one, abs. Genetically, my abs are not great.
And it's not that he doesn't have great abs. He actually has really good abs. It's just that he carries his body fat in his midsection. And so as he's flexing his abs obliques, you can see them clearly visible. However, they're not as shredded as, for example, his back. His back looks phenomenal, very lean, very conditioned. Another glaring weak point for Vitruvian is his quads. He also stores a lot of fat in his legs. And so when he stands from the rear doing a back double bicep, I'm thinking, dude looks close to being contest ready. But from the front, the legs, the abs, guy has a long way to go from being shredded. In comparison, a guy like Jesse James has phenomenal abs, has almost no body fat on the abdominals. But from the rear, Vitruvian has a better back. And so depending on your genetics and where you tend to store more or less body fat, that will ultimately determine how you look on stage.
Bicep shots I have to be careful of. So other guys out there with better, superior bicep genetics are probably going to dwarf me.
And so Vitruvian, you don't have bad biceps, you just don't raise them high enough. You're flexing your bicep like this. What looks more impressive, like this or like that? It's clear and obvious. Raise the bicep higher than the delt. Start watching Coach Greg's posing videos. Notice Arnold Schwarzenegger from the rear. The bicep peak higher than the delt. It's very simple. Raise those elbows up.
Even Chris Bumstead, like, he has this. His biceps are definitely, in my opinion, one of the weak points on his body.
I would say for Chris Bumstead, the biceps is the only weakness on his body. And it's not that he has small biceps. It's just in comparison to everything else, they don't look as impressive. But trust me, people, if you had Chris Bumstead's biceps, that would be your best body part.
You know that thing where you put your elbows back and you see the Christmas tree? I, for some reason, have that more than like 99% of people out there.
And so what you can clearly see is Vitruvian Physique does not have body dysmorphia. He quite accurately is able to assess his physique. He's saying, look at my back. It's leaner, better than 99% of people, and that is 100% true. He's not looking at his back and saying, oh, I'm fat all over, it's not good. And when he critiques his abs and says they don't look good, it's because he's comparing it to his back.
You'd be surprised how many visual improvements you could still make, even if it's just by losing 1, maybe 2 pounds of body fat, especially when you're this lean.
And so 100% true, in 2 weeks, losing 2 pounds of body fat, dropping an additional 1%, combined with peak week, you can look night and day different in only 2 weeks. And so I do believe he'll look his all-time best. And although he could be leaner, I don't think he needs to. If he were to continue to diet to get more shredded, 5-6% body fat, get strided glutes as he described, he would lose a significant amount of muscle. As his testosterone levels get lower, the guy is 100% natural, he would start to lose more and more muscle and feel like garbage. Wouldn't be worth it. And to compete, especially as a natural, you don't need to compete at 5 or 6%. If you're at single-digit body fat, for example, 8, you're going to be as lean as half of the guys in the competition. And so rather than trying to beat people on conditioning alone, he's hoping that a combination of his size, conditioning, and symmetry allows him to place near or at the top.
Vitruvian Physique, that guy is 100% natural. If there's anyone I believe is natural, it's him. Like, really? Really? Not even a little bit of doubt? No, you're that sure?
And so Vitruvian, with this video, he proves my point right now. When someone says you're a fake natty or they don't believe that you're natural, it is a compliment. He's been waiting, dreaming for people to call him out and say, I don't believe you're natural. And so imagine if everyone says, oh, that Vitruvian guy, I believe 100%. There's no way that guy takes PEDs. That's not a compliment. He'd rather hear, I don't know, that physique, I don't think you can achieve that natural. That's a compliment. So when I make natty or not videos on people, and I say to somebody, I think they're a fake natty, if they actually are natural, take it as a compliment. And so people are saying Vitruvian physique, he's a beanpole, he has horrible genetics. This couldn't be further from the truth. He literally shows a picture of him with his classmates. He's got the most muscle of everyone. He said, I was one of the biggest, most muscular teenagers in my class. And so when you're one of the biggest teenagers in class, you have above average genetics. And trust me, the current physique that Vitruvian has, that is far above average. You don't get a physique from that by just eating and training properly. You also need above average genetics. The average person, if they trained exactly as Vitruvian does, would not look nearly as good as him. Sorry, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I've trained a number of people, training, for example, 5 years plus. Hey, I'm 5'10", 140 pounds. 5'10", 140, training hard, eating properly, trying to pack on muscle. That is someone with below average genetics. A lot of people could train their entire life, never look nearly as muscular as Vitruvian.
But another really good thing I actually kind of want to illustrate is the FFMI. This takes me to 21.27, which it's not even that fantastic.
And just quickly, fat-free mass index, that's just a guess as to how much muscle you can put on as a natural athlete. Anyone with far superior genetics for putting on muscle is going to be far above 25. Even Coach Greg was above this standard when I was natural in my 20s. And so it doesn't prove or disprove anything. And as Igor says, your fat-free mass index could be below 20 and you could be not natural, or it could be above 25 and you're not taking anything. Just think of it. All the mass monsters of the world, the Ronnie Colemans, the Jay Cutlers, the Big Rammies, if these guys took nothing their entire lives, their fat-free mass probably above 30. And so you can see Igor accurately assessing his body fat, saying, hey, I was at 9% body fat in my last competition, 172 pounds. And so his fat-free mass index, it's only in the 21s, and so this is attainable for most people natural. But just because someone comes up with a score above 25 or below 25 doesn't prove or disprove their natural status. And for me, it's kind of a wasted measurement. It's kind of like if you use a BMI to decide you're obese. My BMI is over 30, and so therefore I'm obese. Yet I have single-digit body fat, and so can you actually be obese and shredded at the same time? I don't think that makes sense, now does it? And so what is my overall message? Well, that dieting to single-digit body fat, competing, it is hard. It's not something to try and maintain. Igor hasn't done this for several years. He's taken it on as a challenge. He knows it's difficult. He knows he's going to suffer. But following the show, he's not going to try to maintain at single-digit body fat. He knows better. He knows that there's a set point, a range that he needs to be inside of in order to build muscle. And so he's going to increase the calories, increase body fat, go to perhaps 15%. Something healthy that he can maintain that's realistic for him. My suggestion is that you should not diet below that set point. Whether it's 10, 12, 15, 20%, whatever that bottom end percent is for you, that is the leanest you should be. If you go below that and you're starving, have low sex drive, brain fog, can't sleep, eat more. Have realistic goals. Don't strive for single-digit body fat, strive for health. Hope you learned something. Ending it here. Looking for harder than last time supplements? Use code GREG, G-R-E-G, get 10% off everything. Also, training books, the Circle Diet book, cookbooks, the hard copy, and get that by clicking the link in the description. Remember the cookbook, low-calorie, delicious recipes to help you keep full. For the big eater, you don't have to suffer the way Igor is when you're dieting. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Don't forget to watch both of those two bloops. And until next time, I am out.